fucking, I was like, Roger Daltrey? No, he's still way bigger than any of our shit. Like, and I don't even know if he has any solo work. So, like,
yeah, I don't even know.
No.
Yeah. One of the dudes from Local H. But just one of them.
They're not boomers, though.
No, they're not. No. Yeah. Fucking Joni Mitchell's stepsister.
Joni Mitchell's stepsister. God damn it. Well,
hell yeah.
You know, you keep spouting this misinformation, and
hell yeah.
Jimi Hendrix's bassist is definitely going to leave the platform.
Dude, Jimi Hendrix's bassist ghost is going to fucking come haunt you. Yeah, hell yeah. Welcome to the Coming Down Experience. My name is Nathan. I'm here with Matthew.
Hey, everybody.
Hell yeah, man. How you been doing?
Dude, I am surviving.
Yeah, man. You know, like, yeah, we're doing good.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're fucking keeping heads above water over here.
That's all you can do. You know, numbers are trending down with the cases and stuff. Me with my wishful thinking, like my dumb wishful thinking, I'm just that person again. I'm like, 2 more months and we'll be out of this.
Well, apparently our mask mandate is done March 31st, so we better be done with this in 2 months.
Yeah. I would love to see it because I want to go experience the world.
Oh
again,
my god!
Without a mask on.
Well, my thing is like,
nice.
I enjoy the world without COVID. And I enjoyed full lockdown.
Yeah, totally right. Yeah, this middle of the road shit.
Fuck this bullshit.
I know.
Man.
My hybrid work schedule, I'm like, well, I guess I go in because I have to, but like, I really miss the days of just not at all, ever.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I wish we'd been in full lockdown for the last 2 years.
No.
What kind of tortured hellscape would we be living in now? But but you know, like, that was the only part that was actually kind of fun, was when I was just getting paid to play video games.
Well, it's the weird, like, disillusionment, too, right? Of, like, this, we should be in lockdown, but we're not.
Well,
and
no
this,
kidding,
like,
right?
You know, I guess we're just gonna, you know, numbers have been worse than ever, cases have been worse than ever, but, like, we're all over it, so let's just go out and live with it.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Like... I remember back when I was trying to plan this gathering in fucking December, and like I looked at the fucking chart and it was just like 5 times what it had been the year before. Maybe it was January, I don't remember. First week of January, last week of December, I don't remember, but like I was just like, oh, I should probably double check my assumptions, and I'm just like, oh shit. We're talking orders of fucking magnitude, like,
right, but with like a response that doesn't match it at all.
Yeah,
and just sort of just total apathy towards it.
That's the thing, is it's like, oh, like we think this could be maybe as bad as the last surge, and then it's like, oh no, this is literally way more insane than anything anyone has ever seen. But no one's really dying more, so shrug.
Man, fucking tale as old as time, man. Just American apathy has been great. Well, I guess world apathy at this point. I don't know.
Fuck, dude. No. I will say that, like, I don't know what the exact correct response would have been. But this certainly wasn't fucking it, man.
No, and it's actually really interesting, and not to like belabor just talking about COVID yet again on this intro of our podcast, but I think it is going to be really interesting to even 20 years down the road.
Oh,
to
the
like
historical perspective?
Right, totally. Yeah. And we'll really get all the details sort of hashed out and understand how things could have been done differently.
Yeah.
And, you know, because I do believe, and I am not on the side of these, like, psychopath Canadian truckers and whatnot, you know, these anti-mandate people, like, I don't know. God. But I think it will be interesting to look at kind of every version of overreaction and underreaction, because we know that both of those things have happened, and where the sweet spot would have been if we had done everything correctly, which basically we've done nothing correctly, almost virtually nothing.
Exactly.
You know,
it's either been like fucking early overreaction based on little to no evidence, or like complete disregard for facts. You know?
Yeah, totally, right? Yeah. And there's been like a few moments of just like, oh, I think we figured it out for a minute here, but
yeah, we've had a few sweet spots where it's like, you know what, they actually got it mostly right on this one.
Yeah,
all right.
But I guess that's just human history, right? Like,
I mean, it is, but also like the shitty thing is looking at the Spanish flu, like, granted, like, vaccines were really new back then, so, like, you know, it's kind of a miracle that, like, things worked as well as they did for eradication.
We did just sort of get lucky because of a mutation.
Absolutely.
It's
but
wild.
On the other hand, literally the same technology was being used to fucking fight it. Like, it was the same fucking messaging. It was like, wash your hands, wear a mask, try not to be around too many fucking people. And it's like, really? Like, 100 years later and we're still just doing the same fucking shit? Like,
yeah, it's just that. But way harder because we're, you know, there's so many more people on the planet.
Yeah, and also harder, strangely, because information is so much easier to get, like,
and manipulate.
Exactly. Because it was immediately obfuscated. I mean, fuck's sake, I don't want to belabor this anymore, but like, literally the day that masks were mentioned, it was politicized. So, you know,
right.
And back then, you know, Spanish flu times, it was like, no, you fucking wear a mask or you're gonna fucking die. There was nobody fucking protesting wearing masks. Like,
I'm sure there were, but
well, there were definitely people protesting a lot of personal freedoms shit, you know, but like, there weren't many of them.
And there were plenty of people protesting polio vaccines, and you know, if you look at the history of that,
absolutely,
because we did have vaccine mandates in the polio era, and
polio and smallpox were mandates,
and shit was pretty gnarly, dude. Like, they were fucking breaking people's doors down to vaccinate people, and like, I don't know, it's tough. It's a really tough thing as someone who's on the side of bodily autonomy, but then also on the side of, you know, public health and greater good. It's just a tough subject to discuss.
Well, I tell you what, it's, as far as polio is concerned, like, seeing what that does to people, like, you get to break people's doors down.
I agree.
That's at that point, it's like either you're ignorant or you're fucking being a dick. So we're gonna have to get this shot in your arm one way or another.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what's interesting, because we can reflect on that through the lens of, you know, 60 years ago, 60, 70 years ago at this point.
I'm not
so
sure, but
yeah, we can reflect on that now through a very interesting lens. But for the people who were in it in that time, God, not 70 years ago, whatever.
Well, and like, just breaking it down to the ground, like, it was only recently that polio was eradicated from the planet, because third world countries didn't have a handle on it.
It's true. Yeah.
So, I mean, if that brings it into perspective at all,
totally.
We gotta fucking get this shit under control, man, or we're gonna be living with it for a very long time.
Oh, yeah, man. It kind of just feels like maybe we're just going to be living with from one pandemic to the next. I don't know. That's like my pessimist view. But
so technically that's what we've been doing already. Like, if you want to talk about swine flu, avian flu, fucking SARS, all of the buzzwords from the last
H1N1.
H1N1, that's the one I was trying to think of. Yeah, exactly. You're like, all of those are coronaviruses.
You're right.
And they've all been minor outbreaks in the last couple decades. So,
right. That happened in the more densely populated other parts of the world, but this one like finally hit everyone.
Exactly. And so, I mean, it's what they've been saying all along. It's just a matter of time till something like this happens, and we've just been going from outbreak to outbreak. So
nice. Well, and that's why we're here, folks. Not to just talk about this forever.
Well, I mean, apparently that's all we want to do.
I know. Well, look, it's on, it's kind of all you can talk about anymore. It's just like the thing that comes up all the time. And when you ask an ambiguous question like, how you doing?
COVID, that's how I'm fucking doing, man.
Yeah.
It's fucking
living year 3 of the pandemic. That's how we doing.
Yeah. But good news is,
while you're isolated at home, you got a podcast to listen to.
Hey-o!
No, man, you got a story for us?
Dude, I do.
Okay.
So I've been meaning to talk about venture data for a really long time, and today is not going to be that day. But
wait, you talked about venture data.
I haven't done a whole story on it, though. And,
Did you not, though? Wait.
No.
Oh, this was not the Microsoft place.
No.
This was the call center.
Stream is the Microsoft
place.
Okay. Venture Data is the call center I worked for in Eugene.
Okay. Which you brought up during the pizza pipeline episode.
Yeah, I brought it up several times, I think.
Yeah.
At least, I mean, if anything happens in Eugene, venture data is 1 degree of separation.
Okay, yeah.
But it's such a fucking complicated Gordian fucking knot that, I'm going to need some time and some notes to get all my shit together on this one.
Okay.
So this story is venture data adjacent, but it's one I've been meaning.
Oh, so this is not the official venture data story. Okay.
But I do need to fill in a few details from venture data in order for this one to really make sense.
Okay.
So y'all are going to get a tiny taste of the fucking weirdness that was venture data.
Okay.
And just to fill in any gaps for anyone who hasn't heard any of the other fucking stories about venture data, or maybe if I didn't mention some of the details about venture data.
You mentioned a couple in the pizza pipeline episode.
Right. I'm just gonna lay down a little bit of framework here, and then we'll move on from the fucking call center. But for those who don't recall, it's called venture data. But when we were so it's called venture data, and it was a telephone market research business that also did political polling during political cycles.
Okay, yep.
So we never had to do any kind of cold calling. I'm sorry, we did only cold calling, but we never had to do any sales.
Right. So yeah. So it was just polling and information gathering.
Exactly. It was.
And what year was this?
So this was in 2001?
Yeah, that sounds right. Those places were popping up all over the place because people were trying to find cheaper ways to gather data.
Absolutely.
And this was, just on the cusp of social media and internet data mining.
Yeah, exactly. It was really early days for the World Wide Web,
For those who don't know, back in the day, companies like big corporations like Taco Bell or whatever would, and I bring up Taco Bell for a reason, but they would literally pay marketing firms millions of dollars to go and gather data on their customers and consumers, right?
Absolutely.
And I bring up Taco Bell because one of the things they figured out eventually was that all they had to do is on the back of their receipt was be like, go to this website, take a survey for a chance to win a free taco or maybe an Xbox.
Yep.
And then suddenly you weren't paying millions of dollars to a firm for data. You were just getting that data for fucking free.
Exactly.
Or for an Xbox.
Exactly.
For an Xbox and a taco, you would just get so much data.
No doubt.
Yeah.
And I will absolutely mention this again when I do the venture data episode, but one of the big reasons that venture data was run by a man named Jeff Call, who is from Salt Lake City and has no interest in Oregon whatsoever. But people in the Pacific Northwest are highly sought after for telephone jobs because we have regionless diction. We talk like the people on the news.
Yeah.
And so...
Dude, so do people from Colorado.
Exactly.
And that makes sense why there were so many of these places around in 2001.
Fucking A, dude.
Yep.
College town, regionless diction.
Oh, man.
Come on, man. That's a fucking goldmine for these people.
Oh man, if we ever start our old man hip hop, like white boy hip hop group, it's called Regionless Diction.
Dude, I'm in. All right, you heard it here first, people. Regionless Diction coming to a community center near you.
Yup.
So,
or maybe like a rodeo or something. I don't know.
yeah, I mean, like, it might be just a van on the side of the highway. You don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, we coming.
We are regionless.
Dixion. But yeah, so Jeff Call also wanted us to use a name that wasn't Venture Data when we were calling. So we would say Call Research.
Sure.
Because his name is Call.
Oh, no.
But when someone is on your phone and they say, "Hi, I'm blah, blah, blah from Call Research," like, that sounds so goddamn official. Like,
sure.
it worked great. Anyway, I'm getting a little too deep into the Venture Data shit here, but, like, I got a job there. So I moved to Eugene to go to school because I was tired of digging my boards out of the snow every fucking morning to build decks. And after my first year going to Lane Community College, I ended up getting an apartment with my sister because my homies that I was going to school with ended up moving. And or my homies that I was rooming with ended up moving into a different spot. Like, they all just kind of went different directions. So I needed to find a different spot. I found an apartment that was literally a block away. So Ray was moving back from Vermont, and they needed a place to live. So I was like, yeah, this is perfect. Let's get a fucking apartment. And I needed to get a fucking job because I needed money, obviously.
Right.
And I'd been looking around, and there just wasn't a whole lot. You know, it's a fucking college town. Like, most of the jobs that are being advertised in the paper are fucking bullshit.
It's tough, man.
So
you're kind of like you're kind of relegated to like clerking. Like clerking a gas station or something like that, or some sort of like retail clerk job, like server or dishing, but like you can't even really get a server spot unless like you've got some experience.
Oh, and in that fucking town, yeah, server jobs were cutthroat.
Yeah, totally, and they were hard, and you needed experience, and like usually they didn't work out because they would just like work your ass to the bone while you're trying to like go to school or whatever.
Well, exactly. You know?
Yeah, and so then other options are like call center. Yeah, which is kind of like the tech jobs in those towns.
And so not only was there more than one, but there were tiers, right? Like,
oh, yeah.
And I wish I could remember the name of the other place in Eugene. It was like a 3-letter name, like TDS or something like that.
Oh, of course, right, yeah.
Oh, it kills me that I can't remember it. But TSA, I don't remember it. But
TSA?
Yeah, exactly. But they did telemarketing. And like nobody fucking wanted to do that. But
no.
But if you couldn't cut it at Venture Data,
oh, dude, if you couldn't hack it at the fucking data collection, then you had to go sell
this
shit.
Other fucking place.
Dude.
Yeah. So yeah.
Oh man.
Anyway, I think somebody told me about Venture Data. They were just like, man, if you can't fucking find a job, you can always go work here. And I was just like, oh, all right. And so I end up there, and God, I'm already turning this into the Venture Data story. Long story short, I end up there, and I worked there as a dialer for quite a while, and there was a guy there who was a manager, not a manager, a supervisor. Mm-hmm. His name was Mark, and he was real quiet and like, you know, reserved, but also like had this really dry, kind of wry sense of humor that would come out every now and then.
Okay. How old was he?
He was either an ageless elf or somewhere in his late 20s.
Okay.
Never really could pin him down on that.
Really? Like, dude could have been like 42 but looked young, or like maybe just 28.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty sure he was just 28, but
but
had this fucking twinkle in his eye. You know what I'm saying?
Also and if he's like kind of quiet and reserved, like, you don't know, man, like, yeah, maybe.
Oh, exactly.
Maybe he's one of those dudes who's just been on like the internet for decades now,
and like I have this personality flaw where I just assume that people who are quiet and reserved are smart, and unfortunately, most of them end up breaking my heart eventually by opening their mouths.
No. Yeah.
But Mark ended up being the real deal. And, time went by, like, he was one of the only supervisors who was actually listening to my calls and, like, really graded me.
Oh.
But, like, I was never fucking around. Like,
you were doing a good job there.
This is the weird thing about me. I'm like such a fucking perfectionist.
Yeah.
That I don't care how much I hate my job.
You'll still do it well.
I always try to do it so fucking perfect. And so like, yeah, I mean, like occasionally he had pointers for me, but it was always just like cool things about like, here's what you maybe could have tried instead of this, and might have kept him on the phone, but like other than that, like,
and you're just like,
it's legit,
yeah, you're just taking that shit in, just
yeah,
like,
exactly.
I'll do
just
better.
like, oh, fucking good call, and like, I never had a problem with Mark, but like I knew people that thought he was just a fucking dick, just like a real piece of shit.
Oh, because he was probably riding their ass a little bit.
Because, yeah, they weren't doing their fucking job, and he's just like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, this is the easiest thing in the world. Like, you can just read a book and do this, as long as you're pushing buttons the whole time, and then you read the fucking script.
Just
like,
read the script, do
all
the
you have
thing.
to do is read the script, man.
I mean, literally okay, call center work sucks, but like literally the hardest part is just getting fucking yelled at and hung up on over and over again. So like, if you can just slide that off, like everything else is as easy as it gets. Yeah.
And I'm not saying that this job wasn't horribly demoralizing, because it was, but
they
like,
always are. Yeah.
But I definitely figured out a way to just like hit that sweet spot of coffee and weed, and like, read a book and like be able to do the 10 key with one hand without actually thinking about what I was doing. Like I just like look at the screen, punch in the number. Oh no, that's right. We didn't even have to punch in the number. Like, it would just dial it for us.
Yeah, just fucking cue you one up.
So all I had to do was, like, do the headphone mute.
Yep.
Easy. But, yeah, so since I had a pulse and I showed up on time and I actually cared enough...
Yeah.
Eventually... Oh, and I'm actually fucking this up because, like, I had gotten so demoralized that I was just like, man, I can't fucking do this anymore. Like... Because, like, we'd passed through a political cycle and we were just in the doldrums of fucking market research. And I was just like, I can't do this fucking Lowe's, Home Depot shit anymore. Like, this is too fucking much, man. And so I'm at Pizza Pipeline. And I'm in line getting my fucking slice special. And it was 3 slices and a soda for $2.50. Fucking hell.
What a world, dude.
Know.
Yeah.
And maybe it was $3.50. No, I swear it was $2.50. Anyway, we'll say it was $2.50. It was probably $3.50. But,
even still, that doesn't even make sense in fucking the world we live in right now. Yeah.
But like I get up there and like the guy who's running the slices line is a friend of mine. His name is B, and he's like, "Yo, how's your day going?" And I'm just like, "Fuck, dude, I'm working this fucking dumbass job. Like, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Like, I just want to fucking quit." And he's like, "Fuck, dude." Yeah, that place sounds like bullshit. Well, I can't really offer you much, but like I could, like, if you want to work here, I could at least give you 1 day a week. And I'm like, if this is my interview, then I accept.
Yeah, you're like, all right, dude. Yeah.
He's like, really? And I'm like, yeah, man, like, when do you want me to show up?
Sign me up, friend.
And he's like, all right, next Tuesday, come in at fucking 2. And I'm like, done.
I'll be here.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I don't think I can make this work on 1 day a week, but like, I'm barely even working at this other thing right now, so like,
right, so
fuck it.
Just do a couple things, yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm just like, well, and I was like, no, like, maybe I can just fucking scrape by somehow on 1 day a week. Like, who knows?
Yeah, dude.
Like, maybe I'll start selling weed again or something.
I mean, those were
know.
the days,
Like,
man. Those were the days, dude.
Rent was cheap. Like, I think I had some money in the bank. I don't know. Like, I was pretty dumb and bad with money back then. So,
you had some pizza pipeline dream.
I was just like, fuck it, man. Like, maybe he said 2 days a week. I think it was 2 days a week. There's no way anyone would hire someone for 1 day a week. But
well, a slice and a prayer, bro.
I have had a job where I work 1 day a week. But anyway, I'm pretty sure it was 2 days. But I was just like, yeah, man, like, I don't know. Like, there'll be food there, I guess. Like, we'll figure this out. And so I go back to Venture Data, and I'm thinking about it. You know, I'm like not necessarily going to quit. But then I got this one fucking call, and it was just bullshit from start to finish. And, like, they bailed on me during the fucking, like, last part of the survey. Like,
dude.
Like, they could bail during demographics, and it didn't matter. Like, we'd still get it. But if they bailed, like, during the last question, if they didn't answer the last question, it didn't count. And it's just like, fuck, man. Like, like 15 minutes of my fucking life, like, cajoling you through this, and you won't fucking just. And I'm begging them, you know. And they're just like, look, man, I gotta go. And I'm like, cool, I guess. And I'm just like, fuck it. I packed up all my shit, and I walked down to Tiffany's office, and I'm just like, about to fucking go in there and quit, and she's not in there. And I'm just like, oh shit. My whole fucking big dramatic scene,
right?
It's like
my walkout moment,
nothing's happening, and like, I don't remember who was sitting at the desk outside her office, but they're just like, "Oh, what you doing? You gonna go take a break?" And I'm just like, I don't know. And I was about to tell them that I was literally going to walk out right then, and Tiffany comes walking up, and she's like, "Hey, I was just looking for you," and I'm like, "Oh," and she's like, "No, it's good," and I'm like, okay. And so I go into the office, and she's like, "Have a seat," and I'm like, all right. And so I take off my backpack and set it down. She looks at that like, oh, that's weird. It looks like he was leaving, but like, whatever.
It looks like you're on your way out of here, but all right.
So, what do you think about becoming a supervisor? And I'm like, I don't know, like, what does that entail? And she's like, well, you'd be getting a raise. And I'm like, okay, I'm listening. And, you know, she fucking tells me all about it, and I'm just like, you know what, fuck it. I wasn't going to make it work with 2 days at Pizza Pipeline anyway. Like, well, that was the thing, is she's like, so you would still have to dial sometimes. But only when we really need to finish a project. Right. Otherwise, you're off the phone. So
otherwise, you're just listening in.
I'm like, fucking sign me up.
Yeah, let's go.
Like, I get to get paid to not be on the
middle
phones.
management, baby.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that was the first day of the good life at Venture Data.
Hell yeah.
And you know, plenty of stories to tell about that. But I got to know Mark a little better.
Okay, right, because now you're colleagues.
Exactly.
Now you're on the level, the same level.
And he kind of like real low key took me under his wing. It was just like, look, man, like, there's some weird fucking office politics, because like pretty much everybody who was like top level management was selling weed and like trying not to step on each other's toes too much.
Including the woman who promoted you?
No, the woman at the top was not.
Okay.
But like apart from the very top level, like so there was the boss, and then like the next level down, like top level management, apart from like one or two people, everyone was growing weed. Dude. And like either trading it with other people who were growing, or trying to sell to all the dialers.
What, top level management at a call center back then still only made what, like $9 an hour or something, you know, or like $12 an hour.
It wasn't great. I think it was maybe 12, but it was pretty bad. But yes, again, I'm still giving way too much detail on this shit because it's all going to get repeated. But so Mark was just like, look, you know, there's fucking office politics, but like, if you just kind of keep your head down and like don't make a whole lot of waves, like, you're gonna do just fine. He's like, also, this spot in the basement where I am all the time, if I'm not here, you should fucking get this spot.
Oh, yeah?
And I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. you're in the basement, man.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh, yeah, there's nothing else down here apart from this one fucking station. Like,
there's just, like, one single cubicle down there?
There's, I think there was two, but, like, one of them never got used. So it was just, like, that was kind of the overflow spot for
but you could
managers.
just, like, go snatch that up.
Oh, man, I played so much Minesweeper down there. It was insane.
So much Minesweeper.
Oh, my God. I am a fucking Minesweeper master, bro. Like, I have whole soliloquies on, like, the spiritual side of fucking Minesweeper and, like, how you just gotta fucking guess sometimes, bro. Like,
you do.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my God.
I have a whole thing.
I'm so mad at that game because it's a logic game until it isn't. And then like, God damn it, dude. It makes me so mad.
Oh, and when you click a mine in the corner, it's just like, well, fuck my life.
Yeah,
you know?
totally. And then you're like, fuck it, I'm changing the settings and putting two mines.
Oh, yeah.
So that I can just, on the biggest grid, so I can just click anywhere and it's just going to win automatically.
I did it.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Minesweeper.
Yeah, I've bested you, machine.
You never get me again. Anyway, so, yeah, Mark and I ended up getting pretty close, just like as work colleagues. Yeah. And then, one day he was just like, hey, man, like, do you want to come hang out? And I was like, man, you're kind of a weirdo, but like, dude, yeah, let's fucking hang out. And so I go over to his apartment, and he lives in this house that used to be for U of O professors back in like early 1900s, late 1800s kind of a vibe. Like, it was like an old Victorian house with fucking super tall ceilings and
wild,
those push out windows and stuff. And like,
but was it one of those things where it was like one of those houses split into like four apartments, little apartments, little studios? Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it was so sick. And like, I go into his house and like, it is wild, dude. Like, there's just fucking art everywhere in different stages of completion, like like paintings and stuff, and like,
dude is an artiste.
Fucking like diodes and like fucking circuit boards and wiring and like fucking solder station and like just fucking electronics shit everywhere. And I'm just like, oh, this is cool. What the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, you're like, this dude's fucking on the level.
Yeah, and so he just starts showing me around, just like, here's where I fucking do like this kind of work with these kind of electronics, and like, here's this painting that I'm working on. Like, he had this one that just
What were his electronics projects?
Oh, we'll get there. Bro.
Okay.
And like, he had this one painting that just had like an equation in the middle of it with like fucking crazy psychedelic shit around it, and I'm like, what is this one? He's like, oh, that's the mathematical proof for the interaction of the observer with the observation from physics.
What?
I'm just like, you're fucking cool, dude. Holy shit, how have we not fucking hung out before?
Yeah, right?
And so he's like, you want to smoke some weed? And I'm like,
of course.
Duh.
Yeah.
But you also have to keep fucking talking to me about what's going on here. And he's like, all right, well, first we got to smoke some weed. So we fucking get stoned. And then he's like, all right, you see that fucking toolbox over there? And I'm like, that fucking red metal toolbox? He's like, yeah, go pick it up. And I'm like, well, this is a weird setup, but okay. And so I go and I pick it up, and it's got like a little fucking button next to the handle. And he's like, all right. And he goes and he turns on this old fucking TV, like this old tube TV.
What?
That's like, built in. It's like a cabinet, and you can like close the front of it and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
One of those old ones.
Oh, well aware.
And he's like, okay, point the toolbox at the TV and then press the button. And I'm like, okay. And it fucking just weirds the front of the screen, and you can feel the thing like fucking buzzing and humming in my hand.
What?
And I'm like, what the fuck is this? And he's like, that's an EMP projector.
Whoa, dude.
I'm like, you fucking what? Holy shit. And he's like, yeah, I mean, that's a really weak one, but like, if I just put in some different parts and like put in a bigger battery and up the amperage, like,
whoa,
you could turn a fucking car off with this thing. And I'm just like, dude,
what?
This is fucking cool. And he's like, yeah, I just wanted to see, it's a prototype to see if I could build ones that were incognito, you know, like dress up in like, you know, like workman's shit and just like point this the right thing and press the button.
You're just like,
and boom, you know,
dude. You were like fucking Marty to the Doc Brown. Like
no
you nearly
shit,
fucking
dude.
had like a Back to the Future. It feels like, or maybe that's where we're going with this.
Oh, I wish.
Yeah.
And like fucking, that was the nutsiest of his little creations that he showed me. But
Okay,
like,
yeah.
This guy had dozens of things that
Just
were
little gadgets and little fucking things.
Yeah,
he was working
little
on.
electronics oddities that were also art projects.
Oh,
and like,
man.
Like, the guy was kind of a weird genius, you know?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Just doing some cool fucking shit.
So dude's like one step away from Doc Brown, one step away from like Ted Kaczynski. Like
This is the line that he was threading.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right.
Like a lot of this was meant to be like subversive, smash the state kind of shit.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was definitely on
little toolbox EMP is like,
right?
Yeah, that's, I don't know, man. You got to plan for that.
Exactly, but he didn't have a plan. He was just like,
he didn't have a plan.
He's just like,
Okay.
I want to like help support the movement with this kind of stuff, you know. It's like, but I don't even know.
I don't know what movement I'm trying to support.
Yeah, I was just kind of like, if I was going to like be in on this kind of shit, I would have all the gear. You know?
Dude,
like,
I feel that though, man. Like I actually had my hands on a copy of the Anarchist Cookbook back in the day,
man.
Which many people did.
I bought one. I got one from the library without actually checking it out.
And luckily, I didn't. Whoa, really?
Yeah.
The library carried
the
one?
Deschutes County Public Library has the Anarchist Cookbook, and the joke at school was that if you checked it out, your name just went on the FBI's fucking list.
That's crazy that they would even carry one, though. And I would actually believe that to be true.
They were fucking cool like that, though. Like, the Deschutes County Public Library had some fucking trippy shit, dude.
Oh, that's funny, man.
Like, they were some cool librarians there. And like, shout out to librarians, dude. Like,
100%. Yeah.
I know that, like, the stereotype is that, like, they're some fucking, like, stodgy, stuck-up folks, but librarians get down, dude. Like, they are fucking weirdos.
Yeah, I believe that. I know one.
Me too.
No, I believe that. Yeah, that's an old ass stereotype.
Oh, yeah.
However, finding a copy of the Anarchist Cookbook in a library is wild, dude.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that shit is, largely like just utterly useless.
Oh,
but
it's like going to probably injure you, kind of dangerous. You know?
Yeah.
If you actually want to mix up any of the explosives in there, God help you.
No, totally. The napalm recipe was tight though and works. But yeah.
But smoking banana peels,
No, right? Yeah, a bunch of that shit
peanut
is no
skins,
good.
Give me a break. Dude.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Anyway, I mentioned that because it feels like the same vibe. Like, I had a copy of Anarchist Cookbook, and I was like, I just want to know this information for whatever like cause I got to join,
right?
You know, and
right.
that feels like what this dude was like. Hey, man, I'm just building this just in case I need it, you know,
Well,
just in case like we need to build a little toolbox EMP, dude. Like, I don't know, man.
I feel like that's where he got started and was just like, oh man, everything in this book is wrong. Like, because he had actual chemistry experience,
totally,
you know, and it's just
totally.
like, no, I need to fucking do better than this.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like, you know, he's just showing me all kinds of fucking trippy gadgets and, like, you know, we're talking about fucking cool books and art and, like, getting stoned and, like...
Man.
You know, after that one time, he's, you know, like, it wasn't, like, all the time, but, like, you know, once every couple months or so, or, like, maybe once or twice a month, like... He'd be like, you want to come over after work? Or like...
Right,
know,
it would
like,
just...
sometimes I would just be like in the neighborhood and I'd just fucking roll by and just be like, what's up, man? You want to get stoned? And like, and just fucking hang out.
So you guys, like, were friends.
Yeah. You know, like, not super tight, but like...
Yeah.
You know, I think he dug how into all of that shit I was. And like, you know, I... probably had some fucking cool stories to tell that he enjoyed, but like...
Could you gauge, just based on your interaction, did it seem like he had any other, like, friends or social circles, or or were you sort of like
he did
the guy he let into the fucking madhouse?
He did, but they were like him, like
okay,
fucking.
So he had some other
arch weirdos, you know.
Yeah,
and like I was a little more fucking grounded and down to earth, and like you know.
Did they have like little fortresses of solitude with like fucking?
Oh, he told me about some of the weird fucking parties that they would have at the fucking place.
Oh, really?
Like,
okay, so they were like,
yeah. His girlfriend was an artist too, and like,
okay, so he wasn't total just like recluse dude who was like come into my crypto.
Oh no.
Imagination.
No, he was he just fucking knew that everybody at work was kind of fucking weird and crazy, and
right.
Some of them were kind of shitty, so like. He didn't let them in at all.
Yeah.
But like, you know, I'd talk to him about like Terrence McKenna and like some of the other weird shit that I was into, and he was just
sick.
Like, yeah, man, you're cool. Fucking come over.
Sick. Okay. So dude's on the level. He's
absolutely
just fucking out there a little bit.
Way out there. And like cool, you know, and
hell yeah. Well, this sounds awesome.
Absolutely.
Like I want to meet this guy.
Oh, fuck. Well.
Yeah.
So, you know, time goes by and like, God, I honestly wish I could remember some more of the inventions that he showed me. Like, he had a mini Tesla coil and, like...
Whoa, cool.
Just so much cool shit. Like, this guy was really gifted.
Hell yeah.
And, man, there was one day where I stopped by and, like, I knock on the door and he opens the door and, like... So he had this, like, really long Prince Valiant cut that, like, came all the way down to his chin. Yeah. And he had this flat cap, like the one that I'm wearing right now, like a Kangol. But
like a Kangol, But
it was made out of leather, and he always wore it backwards.
Okay.
And like his Prince Valiant would just look like kind of kick out of it and like curl under his chin.
Okay.
And it looked dope.
That's a dope look, dude.
But this day I come over, and he enters the door, and like he's not wearing a hat, and his hair's like chopped off at real weird lengths and just like sticking out all weird. And I'm like... Whoa, okay. What's
like
up?
He gave himself his own haircut?
Yeah,
maybe?
like a 5-year-old haircut kind of a vibe. And I'm just
no.
like, okay, this is weird. And I'm like, what's up? And he's like, whoa, what are you doing here? And I'm like, I just came by to say hi, man. Like, how are you doing? And he's like, it's so crazy that you would show up right now. Like, I don't even know what this means. And I'm getting some weird fucking vibes at this point. And I'm just like...
And I really wish he was about to unveil the DeLorean and you guys were just about to, like, go back in time.
God,
but...
like, there's an alternate timeline where we fucking hardcore Back to the Future this one.
Yeah, but I feel like, you know...
Unfortunately, we were on the darkest timeline.
Yeah, reality dictates that this didn't happen.
Yeah, and unfortunately in this one, Doc Brown is like, hey, man, so, like, here's the deal. Sarah left town last week, and I hooked up with another chick, and we performed a satanic ritual. And, like, I tried to bind her spirit, and, she came back and like she's really mad at me now and like I don't really know what to do and I'm like okay.
What?
Oh, all right.
Wait, whose spirit did he try to bind?
He tried to bind her spirit or like curse her or something. I don't really remember.
The ex. He tried to bind the ex.
Not the ex.
The hookup.
No, so she's technically not his ex in this picture, but he cheated on her.
Right.
He tried to cast a spell on her of some kind. And like perform this ritual and like unlock his potential and yada yada yada. Talking some crazy shit, and I'm just like, okay, man, like, do you want to like tell me more about this? And he's just like, yeah, come in. Do you have any weed? And I'm like, yeah, let's smoke some weed. And like,
yeah.
The weed kind of calms him down a little bit. Like he keeps doing like these grandiose flourishes where he'll like get worked up into like this manic state where he's just like yelling and stuff. And, talking about how like he's the Dark Prince and like he's gonna achieve his full potential and like.
Oh, good God!
Just wild ass shit.
And you've never seen this behavior from him at all.
Ever. He is a very rational person.
He was always just sort of on the level,
Yep.
even in spite of all his like inventions and
like he was whimsical and artistic,
museum of interesting oddities and stuff.
Like, but was like always very scientific and like
a pretty grounded person.
Yeah, and here he is like on this fucking wild ass flights of fancy.
Man, when you start talking about satanic rituals and binding spirits and shit, like that's super far away from like mathematical equation art and like circuit board stuff. Well, like I don't know.
He talked about like doing psychedelics, and I know that like he was into drugs, but like he'd mentioned that I think he'd said he did acid and like did this psychedelic ritual or something. So I was
Dude, makes me think of Guilfoyle from fucking
mad Guilfoyle vibes.
Silicon
Valley, absolutely. We grab me one.
Yeah, man.
And so yeah, I'm just trying to keep him talking at this point, really. Just like trying to fucking figure out what's going on. And we smoke some weed, and he kind of like calms down, and he's just like, "Man, I'm kind of talking crazy, aren't I?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, dude. Like, I'm just trying to fucking figure out what happened here and like help you like." Try to come to grips with what.
Did you see anything like in his place? Was his place in any sort of disarray?
Or I forgot to mention this. Like, it was fucking trash. And like, granted, it was never in any like necessarily like order.
But I mean,
like, it was always like obvious that like here is where painting has been happening, or here is where electronics work has been happening. And I mean, it was just like. Fucking smears and stains.
That's
and, like,
what I was afraid of.
Trash and dust, and like there like something had been burned in the middle of the floor, and like
this is what I was afraid of.
It was real fucking crazy, and I'm just like furniture was broken and stuff, and I'm just like, fuck, dude. And so I'm just like kind of like trying to talk to him, and like he's like kind of starting to like have some realizations about like his mental state and like what's happening, and then Sarah comes home, and
that's his ex, or his actual girlfriend,
exactly, the one that he cheated on,
but she had walked out on him like a week previous, is what he said.
She'd gone on a trip.
Oh, she just left.
Yeah, she'd gone on a trip, and while she was gone, he, according to him, cheated on her, and like I don't know who this woman was, like. He mentioned her name then, and like I've just forgotten it, but like
this random seductress,
like this succubus, and like anyway, and like it's obvious that this guy is having
some type of
mental breakdown, and like his girlfriend comes home and she's like not stoked, but like it's obvious. It's obvious that she knows that
she's not stoked.
Yeah, but it's obvious that she can tell that like something is happening. And like,
she lived there.
Yeah, and she's cool enough to like know that she needs to put her fucking feelings about whatever he's saying aside, and just try to figure out what's going on with him because she cares about him.
Yeah, is she just she just walked into this like
and like she'd already like she knew the score, and like she'd left to get some space. And like came back, and she's like, "Oh, Matt's here now. Okay, well, maybe that's not such a bad thing." And like, so she starts talking to me about like what he told her, and like, she's just like, "A lot of this shit doesn't add up. Like, I don't really understand what's going on, but I'm doing my best." And I'm like, "Yeah, and I'm here to help. Like, I don't know what's going on here either, but like, I care about both of you a lot, and like." If I can be of any help in trying to figure this out, I want to be, because something's fucking happening with our buddy over here, And she's like, I don't really know what to do. Like I don't want to commit him. Like,
right.
He's not going to deal with that well. And like, I don't even know if that would be good necessarily. Also, like, he's not being he's not stable right now. Like, I don't necessarily know that I feel comfortable sleeping in this house with him tonight.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, that's a real issue. And like, I don't remember at this point if he'd started talking about suicide or if that happened later, but suicide definitely became an issue at some point during the day. And like, because of all of the guilt that he felt. like he felt like he'd pushed Sarah away, and like he really loves her, and like
oh no,
he doesn't know why he did any of this, and like, you know, just all these weird loops that he's fucking cycling through, and like, you know, he's getting really worked up. Like later in the day, he's starting to get really worked up.
So you're like, you've been at his place for a while.
Yeah,
now.
I came over in the afternoon, and it's starting to get dark. Like, me and Sarah have just been like trying to fucking talk shit out as much as we can.
And he's just like,
and like Mark is involved in all of this. Like,
he's just pacing around and
and like interjecting sometimes, and then other times like catatonic, and like,
oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah, like, and like sometimes he's starting to do other rituals.
No, really?
Absolutely.
Just starting up new fucking chants and shit?
And like burning sage and like fucking tying feathers in his hair, and like it's like this whole weird like cyclical thing.
He is fucking on one.
Absolutely. And like,
wow.
At one point, like it seems like he's reaching a crescendo, and he's like, I just feel like I need to talk to someone about what I need to do with my powers, because that's the thing, is he was convinced that this ritual had like unlocked some secret powers inside of him. And I was like, okay, man. And he's like, otherwise I just need to fucking end it all. And I'm just like,
no.
Okay,
no.
man. And so I called the suicide hotline, and I was just like, hey, look, I've got a friend. We're not sure if he's on drugs or what, but like he's talking a lot of weird shit, and like he's been saying a lot of things about harming himself, and we don't really know what to do anymore. I don't even know if you can communicate with him, but I'm gonna pass the phone to him in just a minute, and I am sorry for doing this to you,
right?
But this is
where we're at.
Like, this is you're the best hope that I've got right now. So
oh man,
here's Mark.
Yeah.
And like Mark's like, who's this? And I'm like, well, you wanted someone to talk to about what to do with your powers, and this is the best that I can do.
Here's a person.
Yep. And like he lights up, and he's just like, okay, and like starts talking to them, and is just gushing gobbledygook for, you know, like a good minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes, something like that. You know, and it's just like going and going and going, and like finally like they start like getting a word in,
getting a rapport going,
and like I could tell the minute when he realized what was happening. You know, his eyes kind of flick over at me, and like he gets this weird kind of smile on his face, and he just starts kind of saying the right things and leaning into it. And
okay.
But that's the cool thing about how smart he was, is like he realized how worried we were about him, that we fucking called the suicide hotline.
Right.
And he's just like, oh man, I gotta rein it in, don't I? Or these guys are gonna fucking like,
I'm about to get taken in. Yeah, I'm about to get taken in.
Exactly. And so like that was the first moment when he realized that he actually needed to fucking start behaving differently, or there were going to be consequences.
Right, or people were going to come take him away.
Yeah, but he still couldn't not be crazy.
Yeah,
so, like,
right?
But he was aware of it after that. And so, you know, like, he kind of calms down, and I'm just like, you know, Sarah, like, would it be all right if I, like, took him over to my place tonight to crash? And she was like, that would be fucking amazing.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, Mark, do you want to come crash at my place? Like, we've got a spot out in the garage with a big fucking fluffy couch, and like put a bunch of blankets out there. And he's just like, actually, man, that sounds great. Like, I just kind of want to get out of this house right now.
Okay, I was like, you got a garage, but you had roommates.
I did, but we had this sweet situation with the garage. Like,
okay,
the slab was cracked out there, so you couldn't park a car in it.
Okay,
so we just turned it into this fucking like backyard dart room with like a big couch and like a radio and stuff, and like
sick.
Yeah, it was super chill, and it was warm, you know. So cool. Like we also had a ton of axes and golf clubs and fucking darts out there, which I removed.
Yeah, but, totally.
You know.
Yeah, man.
And I told my roommates what was going on, and they were amazingly chill about it.
That's way cool. Yeah.
You know, I mean,
just like I'm gonna bring a dude who's having a moment.
Yeah, I'm like
over here.
I took all of the sharp things out of the garage. We're gonna lock all the doors, but you know, he just needs a place
that's not his home.
Exactly.
Yeah, because getting out of that environment.
Yeah. I'm like if he wanders off in the night, that's on him. But like, you know, we're giving him a space, and they were like, "That's totally cool." Like,
yeah.
you know, I wish him the best, and like, so on our way over there, you know, he keeps looping through these weird cycles. I mean, he's aware, like he's self-aware most of the time. He even has like really amazing lucid moments where he can like be very reflective on what's going on with him, and they were fucking fascinating. But occasionally he'll like loop back into the fucking Dark Lord Ascendant shit and like,
God,
fucking get this big deep creepy voice and like say all kinds of weird shit, and then like
what?
And
oh my God.
And I would just keep walking and just be quiet and not say anything, then just kind of sigh a little bit, you know. And he'd be like, "Oh, I'm doing it again, aren't I?" And I'm like, "Yeah,
yeah, man,
yeah, dude."
Yeah.
Like, you know that shit's not real, right? And he's like, "Yeah, I know. It's just like, I don't know."
Whoa.
Yeah, it was incredible. Like, having this front row seat on this dude's fucking brain was...
like a full-blown fucking episode.
Like, I would trade that in a heartbeat for him to never have that shit.
Of course.
But, like, whew, it was incredible. And he kept fucking throwing barbs like, "Oh, this is gonna happen to you someday." And just like, "Fuck you, dude." And he's like, "Well, whoa. I mean, maybe not like this, but you know." Like,
so he's like self-aware of it, but then would like dip out of it into like the fucking crazy shit, and then like back and be like, "Well,
yep." And like, well, I've chewed on that for fucking so long now. Like, this is gonna happen to you someday. I'm like, yeah, man, I have mental illness too, and you can see that, but it doesn't mean I'm gonna have a fucking breakdown, you motherfucker.
Yeah. Dude, you're like fighting with the dude in the midst of a breakdown, being like, "Come on, man."
Oh no, this is all internal monologue.
No, I know, yeah, sorry, but yeah, like, just like, come on.
I'm just like, okay,
get the fuck out of here with that.
Don't fucking put that on me. Like, I'm trying to help you right now.
Oh my God, so...
But yeah, like, you know, we got through the first night. No problem. Like, I go out into the garage in the morning, and like, he's just waking up, and I'm just like, yeah, man.
So he slept?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or, I mean, like, who knows how long he was awake, you know, laying there. But like, when I came out, he was definitely like just coming out of slumber.
Okay. And, so he slept for an amount of time.
Yeah. And like, was ostensibly no longer on drugs at that point, but was, you know, still having fucking issues. So
really,
you know, I made him some breakfast, and I was like, "Look, man, like, I'm scheduled to work at Venture Data today, but like, I'm down to kick it with you today and like try to figure things out." And like, fuck, I think I left something out. So at some point, I don't remember if it was before or after the suicide hotline call. I want to say it was after. Sarah figured out how to get a hold of his parents.
Okay.
And, you know, she talked to them for a while and, like, came back and was just like, "They're no help." And I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, they think that he's fucked up and that he just needs to fucking deal with this." And I'm like,
"Oh no.
What?"
That's shitty.
And she's like, "Yeah, I don't know what we're supposed to do." And I'm like, "That's unacceptable."
Yeah, that's shitty.
There's no way that I am willing to fucking just abandon this guy and fucking leave him to the wolves. Like,
I mean, literally,
personally,
yeah. Like,
and I'm not his fucking parents.
Yeah.
Like,
and you're not even like
I've known this guy for like
good of friends with him.
Yeah, maybe a year or two. Like, and we've been friends for less than that. Like, no, god damn it. And so I was like, "Do you like? Can you fucking get me on the line with them?" And she's like, "Yeah, like, And so she calls him up and she's like, hey, you know, okay, yeah, this is Mark's friend Matt. He just wants to talk to you, and like put me on the phone with his dad. And I was just like, hey man, look, I know that I don't know you and you don't know me.
Right.
And like I understand that you have some issues with your son. Like, I am not here to try to throw that in your face. Like, I'm just calling you as another human being who is concerned about your child.
Right.
Like, this is not something to do with drugs. This isn't some weird hippie shit. This guy is having a fucking mental breakdown.
Yeah, he's snapped, dude.
And he needs help.
Yeah.
You're his father. He needs your help.
Wow.
And he wasn't hearing it.
Really?
He's just like, no, man, he's just fucked up. Like, you don't know him.
Was he playing it out? It was just like, oh, he does this, like that sort of thing.
No, I don't. Fuck, I wish I could remember what he said. But
yeah,
it was
just was totally
just dismissive. And,
just dismissing it.
And like he's like,
Jesus,
you know what?
dude.
I can't even talk to you anymore. Here's his mom. And like,
okay.
I got on the phone
Let's
with his
try
mom, and she's just like, you know, how's he doing? And I'm just like, here's how he's doing.
Not great.
And I'm like, I'm very concerned for his safety. Like,
yeah,
he's not going to hurt anyone else, I don't think.
He's in my garage, but he can't live here forever.
But no, and this is before the garage. This is after the suicide hotline.
Oh, okay,
but like,
yeah.
You know, before we went to the garage, I was just like, look, we have to fucking make a plan. Like,
yeah,
this is untenable. Like, he can't live with you. He can't fucking sleep in my garage every night.
Right? Yeah,
like,
you can't live in the garage forever.
Like,
yeah.
we've got a way to get through tonight, but what are we gonna do tomorrow? Like, we have to fucking figure this out. And like, so I'm talking to his mom, and I'm just like, you know, I gave her the same fucking speech that I did his dad, but like a mellower version because she wasn't pushing back yet. But yeah. I'm just like, you know, I don't know you, you don't know me. Like, I just, you know, this is a person that I respect, and he needs help right now, and we can't help him. You are his parents.
Right.
You are the only people who can take care of him right now.
Well,
and so I need you to help me figure out.
Well, at the very least, you're the only people who can sign off on medical decisions.
Absolutely.
You know, so like at the very fucking least, if you can't take care of him, you have to agree to make some decisions here.
Right.
You know,
and that was kind of the tack that I took with her. I'm just like, you're responsible for this person.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to help take the responsibility off of me, because I am not leaving him until I know that he's going to be okay.
Man.
And so basically I'm going to be a bug in your fucking ass until you tell me what you're going to do.
Hell yeah. Tight.
And thankfully she was a more rational person and was just like, okay, look, can you get him on a train tomorrow? And I'm like, yeah, I can do that. You know, as long as you can take care of the ticket,
yeah,
I can make sure he's on the train. And she was like, okay, we'll do that. And like,
God, how long of a train ride? Where did he have to go?
I want to say he was in Minnesota or his parents were in Minnesota or Wisconsin.
It's a long ass train ride.
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
And in fact, it was a bus. We put him on a bus.
So that's a little quicker?
Yeah, well,
buses are quicker?
It's at least more direct. Like,
yeah.
So we get up in the morning after the fucking night in the garage.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, so I got to work at Venture Data today, but I want to stick with you and make sure that we get you on that bus. But I really don't want to try to explain this over the phone.
Uh-huh.
So what do you think about walking downtown with me? And I think he had quit Venture Data. Yeah, he'd quit Venture Data.
He had already quit?
Yeah, a couple of months before. And I was like, how would you feel about saying hi to the folks at Venture Data? And he's like, you know what? That would be really fucking cool. He's like, I haven't seen those guys in forever, and like I feel like that would actually like make me feel good, and I could use a little bit of that right now. And I'm like,
cool.
Done. Let's head down there. And so, you know, we're heading down there, and he's actually seeming a lot more lucid. Like, you know, still we're a little loosey-goosey, but not having the fucking weird Dark Messiah
None
shit.
of the Dark Lord shit, yeah.
which is a nice change.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, dude.
You know,
and
like,
a notable one, too.
and I wish I could remember some of the shit that he was saying, because it was just, like, straight up fucking Skeletor shit, you know? Like, it was wild as hell.
Damn, dude.
Yeah. Ugh.
Fuck.
But, so anyway, we walked down to Venture Data, and, you know, like, there's two entrances. One's through the front door and one's through the alley, and if you work there, you never go through the front door.
Uh-huh.
And we cruise around to the back, and there's some people back there smoking, because there always are. And they're like, oh, hey, what's up, dudes? And I'm just like, what's up? You good here for a minute, Mark? And he's like, yeah. And so I head inside and, like, say what's up to Sasha, and, like, is Tiffany here? And she's like, yeah, she's in her office. I'm like, okay, cool. So I head into the office, and I'm just like, hey, Tiffany, so here's the deal.
Right.
I'm
supposed to work today.
Yep.
But you remember Mark?
Yep.
Yeah.
Just gave her the abbreviated version without trying to leave out most of the personal details, but just like, thinks he's the Dark Messiah, kind of need to get him on a bus, and she's like, holy fucking shit.
Yeah, I got a Dark Lord situation here, so, you know. Do we have any special PTO for the Dark Lord? The little fucking, yeah.
She's like, funny you should ask, ever since Fish worked here, that's been on the fucking, it's been on every employee plan. But no, so, we'll talk about Fish later, but,
oh, yeah.
So
I assume that's not the whole entire band that works there at the same time.
No, Fish is one man who may have never not been on LSD. But yeah, so you know, I talked to Tiffany, and she's like, "It's cool, man. Like, I'm glad that you're doing that for him. Like, it's crazy that you showed up when you did. You know, like, fucking good for you." And it's like, that's better than I expected. Thank you.
Yeah, right on.
And so,
look, if you're unsympathetic to that situation, like, you're a psychopath,
right?
Like,
well,
you know,
and like Tiffany was pretty reliable as far as like being a reasonable human being most of the time.
Sure.
But every now and then it's like some little thing would turn her into a weirdo, and it's just like, okay, all right. I guess we don't get to be human beings about this right now. But that's neither here nor there. She was mostly awesome. To me. But anyway, so come out of Tiffany's office. Mark's inside now, and he's talking to Sasha, and like there's some people gathered around, just like, how you doing, man? Good to see you, kind of thing. And like he is just Mark. But
he has his like butchered hair.
Oh, he's got his hat on.
He's got his hat on. Yeah. Okay, thank God.
Yeah, it looks like he's gotten a haircut, but other than that, you can't tell. And so, you know, he's kind of holding court there for a minute, but then I can see his eyes are getting a little shifty, and I'm like, all right, man, well, I got the day off. Do you want to head out? And he's like, yeah, that's cool. And so, like, we head out into the alley, and one of the other supervisors, Nick, is back there. And, like, fuck, man. Nick, wherever you are, like, hope you're out there still doing it, man. Because this guy, like, he was the master of fucking always being just the right level of high. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, he would do edibles, but like never overdo it. And it was obvious that they were always working. And like with me, it's like either I take an edible and I don't remember that I did it, and it never does anything, or I just took way too fucking much, you know? But this guy was always right on the sweet spot, and like, you know, just always had a fucking smile and was just like super chill.
Oh yeah.
And so he's back there, and I'm just like, oh hey man, what's up with you? And he's like, not much, man. What are you guys up to? And it's like, oh. And Mark's like, you guys want to see something cool? And I'm like, okay. And Nick's like, okay. And like, right in that moment, he caught the vibe. He didn't know what was going on, but he caught the vibe.
But he knew, like, right away, like, oh, okay.
He looks at me, and he's just like, got the fear in his eyes. And like, Mark starts breathing really heavy.
No,
and like spreads his hands out. Right when he does that, a cloud rolls over and it starts hailing.
What?
It had been a sunny day up until that point.
No fucking way, dude.
It was one of the fucking weirdest things I've ever seen. And Nick's looking at me like, no fucking way. He's just like, that's fucking crazy. And Mark's just laughing his ass off.
No! Holy shit, dude.
Dude. I, like, Jesus fucking Christ. I tell myself that he heard it coming and, like, decided to put on a show, but I sure as shit didn't hear it coming.
No, I mean, that's the believable thing, but, like, holy shit, dude. That fucking rules.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So, I mean, like, don't believe any of his Dark Lord shit. Like,
no.
I don't believe that satanic ritual gave him any fucking powers.
But
like, none of that shit is real. But from my limited, shitty human perspective, that motherfucker made it hail for a minute.
Yeah.
It was wild as fuck.
And, like, okay, he said, you want to see something cool, did that shit, then it started hailing, and then he, like, was like, that's it?
Just laughed his ass off. And like, Nick's like, that's fucking nuts, dude. Mark's just like, yeah, what can I say? And like, just fucking, you know.
Oh my god.
Blew it off.
So if it was a coincidence, or if he got lucky, or whatever, he played it off that he made that happen.
Yeah, I'm like, if it wasn't him trying to show off that he knew when the hail was coming, I don't know what he was trying to do. Like, who knows? Right. Maybe it was all in his head, you know? And like, in fact, I'm sure that it was all in his head.
And I guess, like, this is my question.
It was just a fantastic coincidence, but
if it wasn't a fantastic coincidence, then what was he trying to do in that moment?
Well, this is the thing that keeps me awake at night, you know? Like, what the fuck was he doing? I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, he could have just been trying to fucking show us how he can get a boner with no hands, but like...
Dude, okay. As much as I'd love to just, like, end the episode right now, just, like, it sounds like he ended the episode for you guys right then.
I mean...
We have to epilogue. So,
absolutely.
Like, what happened? Did you get him on the bus?
So the good news is...
What happened,
after I went to Venture Data, we went back to his house with Sarah, and, like, Sarah had already been working that morning on some... Like, she bought him a notebook and had written all of these notes in the front of it because he was having a really hard time remembering things. And like, he would also, like, have these fugue states where he just, like, couldn't function for a minute and, like, would get really confused and just, like, grasping at straws, you know, and, like, you know, would loop all the way back into lucid later, you know, but, like, would have these moments where, like, he had to remember to fucking breathe, you know?
Okay,
and so, like, you know, the first thing on the list was don't panic.
Nice.
And,
love it.
you know, like, next thing was remember to breathe, and, you know, it was just, like, kind of like a memento list of just, like, here's who you are, here's what you're doing, like, we love you, and, like, here's our fucking phone numbers, and, like, here's your parents' phone numbers, and just, like anything that she could possibly think of that he needed. And, like, I took the book from her and wrote a bunch of stuff in it while she was, like, talking to him about, like, you know, basically just saying goodbye, you know?
Yeah,
in the best way that she could. And, you know, I wrote down things that he needed to remember, as well as just, like, a little passage about, like, you know, what he meant to me, and, like, that I care about him, you know, and, like, that I hope that he finds what he's looking for, you know, and, like, that things are going to be good where he's going, et cetera, et cetera. And you know, we got all that shit together. Like, we helped him pack a bag and, like, went down to the mini mart and bought a bunch of snacks and, like, a big bottle of water. And, like, then we walked him down to the Greyhound station and waited for the bus. And, like, he was getting pretty nervous towards the end and, like, having some pretty serious confusion moments. And, like, we were not really sure at first if he was gonna fucking pull it off, but we got him into a seat on the bus and I came up to the front, or it was in the
and you guys couldn't ride with him.
No,
like, you just put him on there.
Exactly.
And we're just like,
and
good luck.
Thankfully it was
Dark
just,
Lord.
it was one bus all the way there.
Okay.
And we put him in a seat that was like 2 seats back from the driver, because you can't sit in the first 2 rows because they're for Greyhound employees. We put him in a seat that was a couple rows back from the driver, and we're just like, hey, just want to let you know this guy is, like, the nicest guy in the world. He is sweet as pie, but he is having some mental issues, and he just needs someone to look out for him.
He just needs to get to this place.
Exactly. So if you could please just help him make sure that he gets off the bus in the right place.
Yep.
Like, he's gonna have family waiting there for him. The guy was like, don't worry about it, we do this stuff all the time.
All the time, I'm sure. Yeah.
And he's like
Wow.
he's gonna be just fine. And like, right then he went back and introduced himself to Mark, and it's just like, you know, this is my name, I'm the bus driver.
If you need
anything, I'm gonna be right there. We got a bathroom right back there. I've got snacks and water up here if you need anything.
Yeah, I'll be looking out for you.
Yep. And I, like, that was the moment that I knew that he was going to be okay. And, you know...
Holy shit, dude.
The good news is he got off the bus just fine, and his parents took him home. He did end up stealing their credit cards and taking off for 24 hours. 48 hours.
Oh, shit.
And,
wait, so you did, like, hear fucking from this guy?
Yeah. Oh, well, Sarah did. Sarah ended up hearing from his folks. And, like, you know, shit was rocky at first, I think, because his dad was a total piece of shit.
Yeah.
But once that episode happened where he stole all of their credit cards and took off for 48 hours,
yes.
They were like, okay, maybe we should stop.
Well, like, that's, like, the best thing that I could have heard right now, you know, like... I've been, like, chuckling and laughing this whole story, but, like, nervously.
Yeah, right.
Like, my palms are sweaty right now because I'm just like, I know you're probably not telling me this fucking story to, like, just fucking, like, you know, destroy me at the end. No. But, like, oh, dude.
And, you know, after that, like, things calmed down. And Sarah said that, you know, a few months later, he actually ended up hooking up with an artist collective out there. And it seemed to really improve his mood and his stability. And he started making art again.
Great.
And the last that she'd heard from him before I moved from Eugene and lost contact with her was that he was actually going on a tour with this artist collective, and that they were, like, doing public showings and stuff of their art.
Dude, hell yeah. Okay. So dude probably turned out okay.
Yeah. I think he just had an emotional breakdown because he couldn't handle the fact that he cheated on his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Because he really loved her and, like, realized that he'd fucked up, and that just fucking broke him.
But went, like, so hard on that?
Yeah.
Like...
Well, I feel like he leaned into it at first because he wanted to, like, make her feel like he knew it was a mistake or something. I don't know. Like, I feel like he pushed himself into this breakdown at some point.
So,
like,
I get that. I've definitely, like, obviously never pushed myself into a breakdown, but I've also, like, done things that have pushed myself to, like, an edge of it where I could sort of, like, peer off that edge and be like, well, if I took another few steps, I'm gonna fucking definitely go, like, some direction that I don't really know. Like, I really couldn't predict what's going to happen to me if I sort of if I sort of push myself. And it is like a pushing yourself thing, right? Like, I vaguely understand that not to the level that he's on, but I've also been around people who have done this. And I have a story that I'll tell off air that's, because it's not a whole episode that I could tell, but like, oh my god, dude, that is intense, and I really am glad that things like probably shook out well for this dude in the end.
Absolutely. It's funny because he gifted me a bunch of things like as he was leaving, because like he obviously couldn't take all of his shit with him, and like he gave me this fucking sketchbook that is,
oh man, do you have are you telling me you have an EMP toolbox?
I wish. No, that got destroyed, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm sure, dude.
But yeah, like I really fucking treasure the things that he passed on, and like I wish him well. I'm sure he's still out there doing weird shit, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you have no idea. It's been decades at this point.
Yeah, it's been a really long time. Like I moved from Eugene in 2005, and like that was just before Facebook.
Sure.
Just before Facebook became a big deal, and like
yeah, totally.
You know, I like he wasn't on MySpace. I don't even know why I'm trying to talk about social media. It's just
It does, I mean that's how you keep in touch with people.
It wasn't as easy to keep in touch with people back then, and you know I just lost touch with most of the folks that I hung out with in Eugene.
Yeah, man, that's wild. And then and he lost touch with his lady and stuff. So
yeah, man.
Well, fucking listeners, man. If you know fucking Mark doing some fucking techno Dark Lord art out there, I don't know, dude.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you ever see a guy in a, you know, like workers' coveralls that might seem a little too brand new, and he's carrying a toolbox and like a cop car just completely shut down.
Dude, no shit, right?
You might know what happened there.
Man, that's a fucking wild story, dude, and I'm really glad you told it. I just want to, like, as an end bit here, I just want to really give a shout out to you for being, like, such an incredible person to, like, take care of someone in a mental crisis, because I've also taken care of people in mental crises, and it's incredibly hard.
Dude, yeah.
It's incredibly taxing, it's incredibly hard, and you just don't know what to do.
Absolutely.
You just absolutely don't. And you try and make your best judgment and just try and get that person to be alive the next day.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's like, it's impossible, dude. Like, you don't know what to do.
Exactly. But it's like being with a wild animal, you know? Like, when they're chill, it's fine. But, like, when their hackles get up and they start growling, you don't know what the fuck they're gonna do. You know? And, like, you just try to fucking be as chill as you can.
Yeah. And this, well... Sorry, I'm at a loss for words, actually. That was a very, like, beautiful story, and I think that beautiful's maybe not
poignant.
Rewind. That was a very interesting story, and I don't know, man. Again, just props to you, man. Like, I think that just shows what a cool person you are and have always been, just to, like, stick up for someone like that, put someone up, and just do your best to, like, get them on their way.
Fucking A, man.
Fuck, man. It's terrifying to know that you just put them on a bus and we're just like, there you go. I guess you did, like, get a little bit of information.
It was one of the hardest things I've ever done, man.
Yeah, man.
Because there's just so many things that can happen between point A and point B. And so when I got the news that he was okay, it was like, I mean, I fucking cried my eyes out, dude. You know?
Yeah,
just
man.
Like, fucking thank God, you know?
No, that is intense as fuck, dude. But every time it fucking hails, I'm gonna be wondering if that dude's right around the fucking corner breathing deep, man.
It's Dark Lord Mark hailing on all of us.
Dude. Yes.